Hi, it's Leila, the proud poly kinky queer slut. Today's question is, are fetishes orientations? This is a bit of a complicated question. I'm going to start by just telling you what I think an orientation is. For me, an orientation, like a sexual orientation, like being queer, like for me, I'm bisexual. That's my sexual orientation. For me, that an orientation, like a sexual orientation specifically, is a way that I feel like is just right. It's just the way I am. It's just the way that it exists for me and how I think it should be and how I feel like it should be. And for me, an orientation is something where anything different from that would just feel unnatural. And my first reaction to that is, ew, that's so weird. Ugh, I can't possibly imagine living that way. For me, being bisexual, like put it in practical terms, the thought that somebody would choose only one gender to be attracted to somehow, and that somebody could only want to, like, could make a choice based on who to date based on their gender and their genitalia, like, to me, that's insane. That makes no sense whatsoever. That's completely bonkers crazy. And to me, seems like something that, like, it just doesn't make, no, 1, 2, not go together, no match. The weird thing with orientation is that that's how my brain works. But I'm not the only person with an orientation. The next person over might have the exact opposite opinion and it feel just as unnatural and crazy to them. So let's say the next person over is a straight person, let's say it's a straight man who's only attracted to women. And for them, the idea that a man might be attracted to another man might be completely crazy bonkers. Like, how could this possibly exist? This is counter to the nature of the world. And we're both wrong and right at the same time. Like, because all we have insight to as a person, the only person whose brain we actually get to be inside is our own. So yeah, it would be completely bonkers crazy for me to be straight, but it would also be completely bonkers crazy for that straight person to be gay. And so we have to have some tolerance around these things. So for me, this has led me to understand that other things that I am are also orientations. I'm a megasexual by orientation, or a slut by orientation. I love sex. I need sex. It's a part of how I regulate emotionally. It is important to me in my life. The idea that somebody could not want a lot of sex is just like, what kind of that, are they even human? How does that even work? But I love and know people in my life, close people who, for whom the opposite is true, where sex is just not something that is a driving force for them, or in very limited context, or with specific fetishes. So it's just, we are different. We are different with different perspectives and different innate values of how to be. For me, being polyamorous, actually, for me, everything in the title of this little show are my orientations. I'm proud by orientation. I don't feel like it's healthy for humans to be any other way. I am poly by orientation. The whole idea that you could limit yourself to one love in life makes zero sense to me. I kinky, obviously. Yeah, I mean, my body literally responds with pleasure to certain kinds of pain. Queer, yeah, we covered that one. And then slut, we covered that one. But each of these things is something where other people might have very, very different opinions, very, very different beliefs. And so let's take the question of a fetish, right? So let's pick a somewhat innocuous one, okay? Foot fetish. Let's say that somebody's just super into feet and they just don't really think about sex unless there are pretty feet involved. And then they get really sexually aroused. And to them, it just makes sense that oh my God, yeah, how could anybody possibly want to have sex with somebody unless they're looking at their feet? You know, this doesn't make sense to me. To me, that means that's an orientation. But orientations are highly personal. So the next person, their foot fetish might not feel like an orientation. It might feel like a choice. It might feel like more like a particular phase in their life or a particular moment that they're exploring. So let me think. For me, so an example of something that I do not consider an orientation. Well, I like to hike. Hiking is fun for me. It's a hobby I enjoy. I can absolutely understand why people would not like hiking. There are elements of it that are like, yeah, there's a lot of work. It's tired and exhausting. Like, this does not feel like it's an integrated core of my being. If I could never hike again, I wouldn't feel like I was being somehow untrue to myself as a being. Um, if I could never express my attraction to same sex or multi-gendered or gender neutral partners again, I would feel like that was a corruption of my being and me not being allowed to be who I am. So, there are lots of things like I love playing board games. Is that an orientation? Well, I could see a world where board games didn't really exist and I would be into something different. That doesn't feel like something that's integral to who I am as a person. There are other things that are certainly orientations that are integral to who I am as a person. I am a giggly, bubbly person. When I laugh a lot, and I smile a lot, and I look on the bright sides of things. That feels like it's integral to who I am, very authentically integral to who I am. So that's an orientation. I have a lot of kinks. I don't have a lot of fetishes. I'm into a whole lot of things, but I don't have a lot of things that are required for me to feel attraction. Um, I mean, or maybe I just have a ton of fetishes. I don't know, but I think that my perspective is too broad to blanketly say that all fetishes are or are not orientations. But I do want to put out there that orientation is not just limited to who you're attracted to sexually. You can be oriented in all kinds of ways. And the important thing to remember about orientations is that they feel intensely personal and the right way to you, but that's your right way. That's not necessarily the right way for everybody. Everybody's got their own right way. And so respecting that and listening to those perspectives can make a really big difference and help you get along better in the world. And frankly, I think that's the healthy kind of humility, the pride in the self, but then the respect for other people and their pride in their self. So anyway, that's what I think. This is Leela, the proud poly kinky queer slut. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.